Hello everyone. In today's lecture I am going to discuss about a poem named The Rival, which is written by Sylvia Plath. And if we look at the title of this poem, The Rival means competitor or opponent. So it is clear that in this poem the poet Sylvia Plath actually wanted to refer someone who is actually her opponent or competitor, though it is not clear that who is actually meant by the rival. So, according to some critics, the rival here means or refers to Ted Hughes, who is Sylvia Plath's husband. And sometimes some critics think that uh, Sylvia Plath refers Asia Weevil, who is Ted Hughes' mistress. And before starting the poem, I would like to say that this poem contains four stanzas, and the first three stanzas contains five lines each, and the next one stanzas contains two lines. Can be said a couplet, and this poem also contains no rhyme scheme. That means it can be said this poem is written on free verse. So let's start the poem. If the moon smiled, she would resemble you. Here, resemble you means similar or look like. You leave the same impression of something beautiful, but annihilating. Here, annihilating means distracting. So here, the poet actually wanted to refer Asia Weevil. So Asia Weevil is her husband's mistress. So surely she is her opponent or rival. So here, the first two lines, the poet actually mentioned Asia Reveal, and she's using some metaphor like moon, and then she's saying that she's actually beautiful, but she is distractive, and definitely she is distractive. After that line, the poet says that both of you are great light borrowers. So this is clear that both of them are great light borrowers. That means the moon actually borrows light from the sun. And here the Asia Weevil, she is actually doing the same. Her O mouth gripes at the world. Here O mouth means open mouth. That means her O mouth gripes at the world. Gripes means as a mourns or laments at the world. Here her means moon. Moon actually mourns whenever it sees the world. This is a metaphorical line. You is unaffected, but you have no feeling. Here the poet says that whenever the moon is watching the world's people, she is lamenting, but you have no feelings. So here the poet wanted to represent Asia Weevil as a cruel woman. Okay. So in the second stanza, the poet says that, and your first gift is making stone out of everything. Here the poet actually wanted to refer Asia Weevil, whose first impression was to making the poet hurt. In the next line, the poet says that, I awake to a mausoleum, you are here. So what is mausoleum? Mausoleum is a place where the bodies of dead people are buried. So the poet here actually she wanted to tell us that her mental situation is not good. She always feels that she is living with the dead people. And here, after that line, the poet says that, tickling your fingers on the marble table, looking for cigarettes. Tickling your fingers on the marble table looking for cigarettes. And here the poet actually wanted to mention that Asia Weevil is very much relaxed, spiteful as women. Spiteful means envious, cattish, and malevolent as women, but not so nervous. That means she is very much cattish, but she is not very much nervous, and dying to say something unanswerable. And dying to say something unanswerable. and that means she is trying to say something which is totally not answerable. So in the next stanza, the poet says that the moon too abuses her subjects, but in the daytime she is ridiculous. So this line is very much, actually, this is very much ridiculous line, because the poet actually here mentions the moon about ridiculous, and she's actually saying that the moon actually abuses her subjects. Subjects means the viewers or peoples. We all know that as a common people, every night we gets fascinated by the moonlight, though we know that moonlight is not moon's own. Moon actually borrows moonlight from the sun. Okay, so here this incident, the poet mentions this incident about abuses, and she after that line she's saying that, but in the daytime she is ridiculous. Yes, that's true. In the daylight we don't need any moonlight or the moon. So in the next line, the poet says that your dissatisfactions, on the other hand, arrive through the mail slot with loving regularity. Here, mail slot means a mailbox or letter box. Your dissatisfaction, on the other hand. These two lines have some meanings, and behind these two lines, there is a short story. Perhaps Asia Weevil, she actually communicated with Ted Hughes through mail or letters, and someday maybe Sylvia Plath, she seen that letters, and most of the letters perhaps contained dissatisfactions about Ted Hughes' first wife. Okay, in the next line, the poet says that white and blank, expensive as carbon monoxide. White and blank. White and blank, actually, these lines actually meant black life, or expensive as carbon monoxide. We all know that carbon monoxide is a poison or toxic gas, and expensive, that means a massive poison. Expensive as poison. Okay, this blank life is expensive as poison. So in the last stanza, or in the couplet, the poet says that no day is safe from news of you walking about in Africa maybe, but thinking of me. So these lines, it contains women's psychology very wellly, and in these lines, actually, we can see that how Sylvia Plath always thinks about her competitor or her rival, Asia Weevil. She always thinks that Asia Weevil also thinks about her, and she is always trying to destroy Sylvia Plath's life. In conclusion, The Rival, perhaps estimated as a successful poem of Sylvia Plath on the basis of its theme, imaginary emotions, vision, diction, and other technical devices. So that's all for today. Inshallah, see you in my next classes. Allah Hafiz.